Hey, everybody, Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And as per usual, you know the drill by now. We're going to be kicking the ball over to John Randall and I in just a few minutes. Got the whole gang here. We're actually talking all sorts of video game stuff, kind of more like just conversational stuff, but kind of like anticipating. It was shortly after that most recent Nintendo Direct aired. I know I actually just received my copy of Pikmin 4 as of yesterday at the time of recording this. Randall's been playing it for the last few days. It sounds like he got it right at launch, so we'll definitely be digging into some Pikmin 4. We'll be digging into some just all sorts of video game stuff in the back half of this episode and future episodes as well. But as per usual, I also have a bunch of stuff that I've been playing. I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet here just because I've had a crazy busy week. Actually, just this morning, yesterday, we had like a family sort of not reunion, but just sort of a big family get together at my parents' house. And just this morning, my mom was grinding a bunch of stuff down the garbage disposal and it like clogged the drain and busted the pipe. We had to like scramble around and clean that up. We're kind of like letting everything air dry. It seems like the damage wasn't too bad. Like we got it quick enough, but man, that was a good way to wake up this morning and kind of get the ball rolling. But it was great seeing some family and playing some, not video games, but like lawn games and stuff like that and seeing everybody. But on the other hand, I have been doing some streams lately and really been having a good time. And one of the things I did the other day, just kind of as like a test run, I've been trying to set up some things in the Discord. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to play a game and do a stream in here where I'm like chatting with everyone. I even have like the push to talk on. Only one of our friends, Turd Boomerang in the chat. He jumped in and said a few things. He was actually on his way to get a haircut. But I ended up playing a couple of games. One of my favorite developers that I've mentioned a number of times on the podcast, Kultisti, has a game that's been out for a little while now, not super long or anything, but I had yet to play it. It's called Juurru, Juurru, and it's yet another free-to-play game, and honestly, this might be maybe my favorite game from Kultisti yet. I say that about a ton of their games, and they're truly all that masterful, but this one is just an absolute masterpiece. It's kind of like a single-screen, side-scrolling platformer, like all one room at a time, essentially, and he plays this little, like, troll gnome character that you hop and jump around, and then there's these little, in every room there'll be like a handful of like sprouts that are kind of coming out of the ground, like little plants that you can like then burrow into the ground as this troll at those points. And then after that point, it switches from like a 2D scrolling, but a 2D hop and bop platformer. No enemies either, so you're not bopping anything either, but you're just jumping around solving puzzles. But then once you're under the ground, it switches more to like it's side-on perspective, but it's almost like a top-down, up, down, left, right, grid-based movement where you have to then, to clear a stage, you have to enter and exit out of all of the different, like, plant nodes, or whatever you want to call them, the little, like, sprout seedlings or whatever. And then as the game goes on, there's, like, multiple waves of, like, mechanics. Like, adding in these, like, fairies that you have to collect that almost act as, like, keys on top of triggering all the different, like, sprouts or whatever to open the doors. It's just... Honestly, it was like one of the coolest games I've ever played, and it was so fun doing it in this like kind of Discord stream fashion. Just as like I was like, okay, a little less pressure. I am live, but I'm live in like more of a private setting as opposed like the Discord was open to everybody, but like I just mean it's like not like on Twitch or on YouTube or whatever. I don't know. It just felt like a little more laid back, and I was like, I'm just gonna record the gameplay in the background while I, play some of this game. And then I ended up bouncing after I finished that off. I was like, I still got a little left in the tank here, so I jumped over to. I had a few technical difficulties with streaming and getting the windows to cooperate with some different Sokpop games. I think I tried a few before this one, but I've had this game Pyramida on my short list of games from Sokpop that I've wanted to check out for a while, and it's got just a really great, all of their games have a really great sense of style, but this one's got like kind of a minimalistic, low poly pixel art style. Like I think it is 2D, like sprite stacking sort of stuff, I think. But it's essentially like a resource management, like somebody in the chat actually while I was playing, like it's kind of like you're playing like SimCity in the year one, you're like literally building up from like scratch, like building a little log hut and then chopping down trees so that you can build a farm so that you can get more wheat and grass or whatever. I forget what you farm when you farm, but then different resources cost. I ended up playing through about like 3 or 4 days. I had played a short campaign before I had done this kind of Discord stream thing and ended up getting kind of stumped. My civilization perished, so I had to start back from scratch, which is what I would have done anyways once I kind of learned the ropes of things. But I'm really kind of excited, like once nighttime, or maybe, I don't know if it was nighttime or after a certain number of days, but as I was like, you start out kind of in this small little settlement and you can keep exploring and expanding out. And like, I was like, oh, cool, this is over here. And then there's like some dead like skeleton bones that I come across. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool little world building vibe. It was even like letting me click on it and whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. Those are, just there for stylistic to break up the, the desert kind of setting or whatever. But then all of a sudden, like one of the nights hit and then those skeletons just spring up to life. And that's one of the things I've said this before with Sokpop games or with stuff like Kingdom, which we actually talk about on this, follow-up conversation for the Save It for the Cast here in a minute. But like that very first time playing a game where you're still kind of like learning what everything does. Like now that I know that those skeletons pop up, I can totally prepare for them, and I'm sure I won't be able to negate them and avoid them completely, but I know what's coming, where like that surprise factor of just like, holy shit, I thought I was just going to be over here chopping trees, with no harm in sight, and all of a sudden, because I was figuring out like you can get archers, you can build walls for protection, so I'm like, obviously there's going to be something coming to attack me at some point in time, but apart from that, I just really love the like just kind of laid back nature. It plays all with mouse and keyboard, mostly mouse controls, just a few kind of keyboard hotkeys, and then like moving the camera around. So it worked pretty well for me, especially because the gameplay wasn't super duper fast paced. So I was able to just kind of work things around. But once you get things going, you can go into fast forward mode. Just a really, really cool, once again, it's Sokpop really doesn't miss. Every now and then they do have some games where I'm like, okay, that's not really my style of game, but they're one of those studios that I genuinely and generally like kind of feel interested, even if it isn't like, okay, this is a narrative adventure, but it's from Sokpop. Okay, I'll maybe check that out. So really had a good time checking that out, doing that kind of like impromptu, kind of low-key Discord stream. I definitely want to do some more of those, but I ended up playing some other games on a proper Twitch stream, and I'll probably just leave it at these because I could just go on and on. I ended up finishing off Jelly Car Worlds recently. I checked out Rain World for the first time, so maybe I'll get into those another time. But I did play a couple games. There's Despotism 3K, which I think was the first game in the series, and then Despot's game. Two totally different games, but they're kind of like roguelike idle games. Despot's game is more of like kind of like a dungeon crawler auto battler, where Despotism 3K is more of a traditional idle game where you're just kind of resource management. You're kind of juggling. You have all these different humans that you just have to keep like repopulating. It's got a very dark sense of humor. You can like sacrifice humans to get more energy and more food for the other workers and stuff like that, and you're just constantly like juggling as the workers get tired. You're like, throwing them in there's a few different things that you can throw them into, so like the hamster wheel thing that generates power. There's like this trampoline that they jump on that they can generate food. You can throw two in a time at one of the like little stations or units, and that's how you repopulate more people. And it's just got these like little pink stick figures in both games, but in Despot's game, kind of both games are pretty complex, but like that Despot's game definitely adds a lot to the mix. You can really kind of like, it's not full blown strategy, but it kind of is. But you do really, what I really like about it is they're both roguelikes, and you really have to lean into like, there'll be these like kind of narrative moments. Like at one point in Despotism 3K, like it's just like you can click on like every day something happens, or I can't remember how often these like events trigger, but you click on it and it's like, okay, hey, there's some angry old geezer just wandered into the factory. Like, what do we do? Do we ask him for advice? Do we throw him in the biogenerator to create more food? Like, what do we do here? And you just kind of lean into like some of the, I started off kind of playing more like, okay, let's do the smart thing here. And then the more like this game kind of leaned into like the dark humor and the silliness and unexpected outcomes from those kind of like narrative beats that will then lead to like some kind of buff that's like, or passive ability or either upgrade or downgrade. Like sometimes it's kind of both, like, okay, now the people don't want to eat regular food anymore. They only want to eat stuff that's like produced from other humans out of the biogenerators. So it's like, okay, like I definitely have to be in the mood for this type of stuff, because I normally, and thankfully, like because it's just like pink stick figures and stuff, it doesn't really get too like gory or anything like that, or too, I don't know, it doesn't like push the buttons for me that would put me off completely to a game like this, where if it was like, maybe a little more graphic or something, it might not be my thing. But I really, really had a good time playing both of these. And honestly, Despotism 3K was one that I randomly grabbed. It was just free on Steam at some random point in time during like a holiday sale or something like that. And then Despot's game was on Game Pass. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll fire both these up and do a little tag team side-by-side stream with both of those, kind of do more of like a first look. And I've really, really had a good time with playing both of those. Just a ton of fun. I've been doing a ton of streams lately, kind of squeezing them in around like my job interviews and stuff that I've been doing lately. But yeah, things have been a little bit hectic, but I'm going to leave the chit chat here, or at least my rambling here, and kick it over to the chit chat with John Randall and I. Like I said, we're going to get into all sorts of video game stuff, some Nintendo stuff, control schemes, just kind of all sorts of video game chat. So yeah, I'm going to kick it over to the rest, me and the other guys. And yeah, until next week, we'll catch you then, and take care. Yeah, I've been playing a ton of stuff, but there's quite a few things I can like kind of put on save it for the cast stuff that I can kind of pair together. But mostly, yeah, I've been playing Kingdom, that Deadlands DLC.
Let's plug it in.
And then nice.
Let's
and
plug this
then
in.
Mario and Rabbids. And then yeah, a bunch of other stuff too, but I can kind of talk about whatever. And then John, have you been playing anything other than Zelda?
Yes.
Save it.
Yeah.
We'll do a Zelda segment. Save it. If it's like that,
We'll
save
do
it. There's plenty otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I'm not going to touch on is that I've tried. I checked in on Splatoon just because I was like, I want to see how this is going, and I'm like, I got to a few, like, I don't know, after a few matches on like a few different modes, like just to get whatever, like the new salmon run gear that's coming out on, or that you can get, and then whatever the next, I tried a new weapon, and then like almost immediately I was like, I just want to fucking play Zelda. I don't want to
Got
play
slaughtered by
else.
some Japanese 15-year-olds a few times and called it a day.
Yeah. Same with and then I did the same thing with Monster Hunter, because I'd been listening to
I saw you boot that up.
Yeah, like I was listening to one of our episodes, and I may have like mentioned that I was like talking about Monster Hunter, like just making me more patient in general in games. And and I was like, yeah, and that,
I
like,
can see that. Yeah,
just like describing Monster Hunter, I was like, fuck, I want to play Monster Hunter again. And then like I like booted it up, like relearned the controls like a little bit.
Yeah,
like it wasn't bad. It wasn't nearly as bad as like when I first started Rise, but like I was like, all right, I'm pretty sure this is the combo for like grappling and like wire bug, like launching myself around the thing. And then I was like, all right, yeah, I got all the mobility down. And then I got into a battle, and then I was like, shit, how do I change ammo? I don't know how to change ammo. I was like, okay, I cannot like force myself as a liability in multiplayer with other people. Like I cannot just be like this asshole zipping around into danger and then not being able to do anything. So it's like, I will come back to this game later.
Jumping between those two. I feel like I've never played Monster Hunter much, but like I feel like that's another game that uses every button on the controller in a multitude of ways. Maybe not quite as extreme as Zelda, but yeah, that seems like it'd be tough to jump between those two games, even if you had them both like down really well.
And like there's we will get into this on the cast, but I've been playing Genshin mobile only, specifically because it's an open world game, and like the confirm, cancel, jump are all like slightly different on a controller as opposed to like between the two games. And so I was like, I'm just not, it's not even in my brain anymore. I don't remember. I'm not playing this game with a controller. I am playing it on my phone, and I am playing Zelda on controller. Cause like a similar thing happened when I was playing like Elden Ring, where I was just like, God, no, Elden Ring, this is what my controller brain is right now. I'm not, I don't know if it's like I'm losing brain plasticity and I can't keep two control schemes in my head at the same time.
Well, even just how hard it, like when we were playing Mario Kart Super Circuit, like how hard it is to get used to drifting in any of the old Mario Kart games. Like now that I drift in Mario Kart 8, like I just don't comprehend how to drift properly in the other
It's a tough
games.
drift.
The old
Yeah.
ones.
Those, yeah.
It's a similar thing,
64
like
too is so hard.
with like all the Street Fighters, how they're like, yes, they all control the same, but they like the timing is not
Oh, yeah.
exactly the same between each
Definitely.
like one.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
it's a similar thing. Like you can absolutely like go between titles, but if you're like sitting down and competitively playing, you need to be only playing that title.
Yes.
Yeah, for
Which
sure.
I did buy the latest Fighting Street as well, but I have not played it enough to
Ooh,
talk
it does
yet.
look pretty cool. It
Yeah.
looks pretty flashy. I gotta admit,
Yeah.
what was that other fighting game we briefly talked about before? Not on like an episode or anything, but like it was that
Guilty Gear.
was it Guilty Gear?
Yeah, the new
Oh,
Guilty
yeah.
Gear just
That-
looks
I was gonna say, it almost doesn't look-
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like almost as stylish as that, but that Guilty Gear I think takes the cake.
Guilty
but
Gear just takes a stylish crown and
There's some-
fighting.
yeah,
It's
but
still
there's
like
some cool-
animated technically, or like
It's-
they do something different with the
It's all
animation.
super.
Like it's
Yeah.
because it
It's
used to
pretty-
be like individual frames,
Yes.
like animated,
Hand
I don't know if
drawn,
it still
yeah.
is.
It
yeah,
was.
yeah, it looks cool. It's definitely like very big, bold, chunky, Gears of War hulked out
Mm-hmm.
characters for the most part. But they've been doing that for a little while with Street Fighter, I feel. Breaking out the Marcus Camby, whatever his name is. And,
I was going to say Marcus Smart,
Gears of
and
War.
that's obviously not correct either. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what it is. I'm pretty sure it's Marcus. though.
Phoenix.
Maybe it's just
Marcus
Marcus
Phoenix.
Oh
Yes.
yes, oh my
Yes,
God.
it is. Oh god, what a cheesy character name. That first game was pretty fun, I gotta say. Me
Yeah.
and Steve, my old roommate, ripped
Yeah.
through that co-op. And then we went right to Gears of
chainsaw
War 2
guns,
after that.
yeah.
And in a lot of ways, like Gears of War 2 was better, but we were just like, it's a little better, but I've had enough of this. Like, it's just, I don't know. It was improved upon in certain ways, but it was just like, I had my fill.
Yeah.
You good? Let's play some Uncharted 3 online again.
Yo, okay, so I cannot recommend the most recent. I'll put it in the Discord. Whatchamacallit, Game Study Buddies episode, which is
Okay.
they've been doing a lot about, or it's the Summer of Agency, which is just talking about the concept of agency in video games and what that means. But a
Okay.
thing that they like, the book that they read that was specifically talking about was it was giving a lot of like firsthand examples of Naughty Dog as a developer, as a specific like cross media like ethos that has always been present in them. Like how from Crash
Yeah.
Bandicoot, they're like, all right, we are going to shift the camera behind the character and like build it around like, cameras, or like
Sometimes
what
in
like
front.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
position of a camera in the like game, like as a looking at it in a more cinematic way, or like thinking of
Yeah.
it in a way outside of what the traditional video game framework is, and how like that has influenced every single or that is an influence that's present in every Naughty Dog game since, and how it's always like trying to like incorporate like things from film or things from TV, and like ways that they like approach it in a way that isn't necessarily like the same way that other video games would, but like specifically in a cross media framework. And it I just love
It's true. I mean, I can't deny that playing through, especially the Uncharted games. I mean, it really just, especially because they're kind of short and sweet.
They're
like
action
8 to
movies.
10 hours. Like, yeah, you just feel like you're ripping through Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Like you never really get stuck too much, unless when I played on hard, it actually did get pretty tricky. After I beat them all, but that's like just to say that I beat an entire trilogy of a series of games that are like modern is like I don't do that anymore, pretty much, unless it's Mario,
But they're
Right.
built like to be played to completion. Like they're not really like built like a game that you like lose yourself in and play for they're a thing that has a start and a finish, and you are expected to experience in its entirety.
In the 3-act structure, it's all that, right?
Yeah.
They do a great job of that too, because I mean it's been a while, so I don't, who knows if I would be the same way now, but yeah, usually I play a little bit, okay, I get the feeling of what this game's doing, and I'm happy to move on to the next thing. I don't feel like I'm missing much. Obviously there's probably cool things that I'm missing in plenty of games that I don't finish, but I'm like, I got the experience of that game. But yeah, with those, it just kept pulling me to the next.
I've never beaten Skyrim. That is a game I have played almost probably 1,000 hours of my life in, and I've never beaten it. And it's like that's insane. Like
even Kingdom, whether I talk about it or not tonight on the proper episode, but yeah, whether playing co-op with DJ or myself, like I've never beaten that game ever, and I've played like a shit ton. Although I was kind of surprised that my hour count was not as high. It was like 60 hours on Switch. I was surprised it wasn't higher because that's where I'm pretty sure all the co-oping that DJ and I did was on my Switch. I'm pretty sure.
Are all the DLC in the same title, or are they separate titles?
All in the same one, yeah.
Wow.
Other than, you know what? There was Kingdom New Lands, though, that was separate. And I played quite a bit of that solo. There's no co-op in that one. But before I played Two Crowns, I played a decent amount of that. I might have even had that on like PS3, maybe. I think I had it on Switch. But I played a good amount of that before. Like for a long time, I was like, I don't need to get Two Crowns, and then eventually, DJ said he was interested too, and I was like, oh, it's co-op. They actually just came out with a new one too, Kingdom 80s. It's kind of at first I was kind of like, it looks like it's leaning like there's like little ET things and Back to the Future, like a bunch of like 80s like movie references and stuff. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but the more I've like watched the trailers, I'm like, actually, this looks kind of stupid. Fun. Like you're like kids on bikes instead of like people on
instead of a horse.
Yeah, but it looks pretty cool. Like it looks well thought out. But that one is a standalone. It's not like a DLC.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's only out on PC now, not on Switch or anything yet. So I was like, I'm gonna wait. But man, I love that series so much. But yeah, what do we want to put on the docket for tonight? / what order do we want to chat about stuff in? I'm pretty much up for whatever. On my end, obviously, anything we can table.
I'll do both of my things. Neither one of my things I think are going to be tremendously crazy daisy long, so it's fine. Yeah, I'll do both.
Okay.
Mine.
The House of the Dead and
the House of the Dead remake and final chapter of Mighty Doom.
Ooh,
okay. Nice. And then John, some Zelda.
Zelda.
Yeah, let's talk some Zelda
with maybe a little Genshin thrown in there.
Yeah. And then I can just do some Mario and Rabbids, to be honest. Kind of give first impressions on that.
That'd be cool.
Want to open with that?
I was just gonna say maybe I could open with that because I don't have like a ton to say about it, but I could definitely.
Still interested.
Yeah. And this will actually be good to little nudge to get me to go back because I haven't played in a while.
Re-listening to episodes is also one of the ways that I just go back to play games.
It really makes a difference. Yeah, when I go back and edit stuff or like whatever, it definitely makes a big difference. Randall, do you have any specific order you want to do stuff in, or just kick it over to you after I talk Mario, and then you can do your 2, and then we'll wrap it with Zelda?
That probably makes sense.
Or I guess that House of the Dead remake is pretty new as well, right?
Ish. I bought it for like no money, so I don't know how new that means it actually was.
New for you. New for you.
They released it on Switch in April 2022. So yeah,
about a year. About a year. A little over.
Yeah.
And I guess Mighty Doom is also pretty new. So.
Yeah, I talked about that once.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a higher level conversation, to be honest. So it probably makes sense for that to be towards the back.
And that's I think a good also transition for getting into Genshin as well.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Good call.
We're gearing up for the 5th nation out of 7.
Yeah.
Which is of this. I forgot what the number was of how many billions of dollars they've made as a company. It's disgusting. It's because they released a turn-based RPG game as well, because they gotta just diversify revenue streams.
Sure. Yep.
Because they got to get that gambling money from every genre and
every angle, man.
They're on that Fortnite revenue stream type of action at this point. Yeah, or probably eclipsed potentially, right? Considering the international of it all.
It's bleak, man. It's bleak because of also like the fact that it's a quality product that has its teeth in people who like have a lot of affection for it. We'll get into it, but like, man, it's just how uncritical like the fan base is. I mean, obviously they're fans, and usually also they're addicts as well who have been beholden to it
now.
Yeah. It's, and you know what? When you put $1 billion into something, you make a good product.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of hard to spend that much money and not have something really good come out.
Yeah.
And that's not good. That's not good. It's real bad.
Yeah.
Woof.
Oh man. Oh man.
That's dark.
On the bright side of video games, that not to get sidetracked before we get started here, but that Nintendo Direct got me freaking hyped.
Oh yeah. I didn't even get a chance. Like, everything happened, but I watched it like a week later. I'm like, oh shit, there's actually a lot of things that I care about in this one. That's nice.
Yeah.
It feels like an actual Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Like, I was like giddy again. Like, especially that new Mario game at the end.
Yeah,
like,
that was cool.
Like, at first I was like, another new Super Mario Brothers, but
It's
cool.
time.
Looks a little more detailed, kind of like than the new or the, you know what I mean, the new Super Mario Brothers games. It just looked like it had a little more animation to it and stuff, and then it got like a little crazier. I was like, okay, there's way more going on than just another, regular 2D Mario game. They're at least freshening things up a little bit. Pikmin. I heard that Pikmin 4 demo is huge.
Really?
I'm not going to check it out because I'm just going to wait for it. But somebody, I can't remember who it was one of our pals in the Discord, I think, was mentioning somewhere, maybe on Twitter or wherever. But
Best Buy had a buy two get one free, so Pikmin 4 was one of those ones that I went for. So yeah,
and
they included it was pre-orders, so it was like that Mario game, the Pikmin game, and something else. Something else.
That's awesome.
On that level.
You could pre-order even that Mario game.
Yeah,
I guess that's not that far off, is it? Didn't they announce?
I think they're all this year games. Yeah.
Okay,
I
now
thought they announced the date for that. I
Fantasy
think it was
Life
like
is coming
October
out.
or something.
When is-
Yeah, I got pretty juiced. I forgot what else was even in there. Oh, the Mario
That's what I
RPG
was
remake.
It's been my brain doesn't go back that far. So let's see what. The Mario RPG remake. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, that new 3D platformer from the Sonic Mania team.
Yeah,
looked really cool.
I'm very
that game
very
looked
interested
really
in
cool.
that game.
What's that one?
Very interested in that game.
I forget the name. It was. I know the character had like a yo-yo.
Yeah,
as like their kind of main mechanic. I don't remember the name of the game.
I'm on a website that's summarizing, but it's chugging because it's trying to load all kinds of stuff.
Apparently, also in the Japan Nintendo Direct, they showcased a game they didn't show during the American version that is apparently like a spiritual successor to the Legend of the Mystical Ninja games.
Really?
From the same team, or like some of the same people. It was like very 3D and modern looking, but at the same time, you could kind of get that flavor a little bit. I saw it. I just read like
games were 3D, so
that's true. Yeah, I never played those. I don't even know if I've ever really seen much of those in action. But
I rented one.
Yeah, apparently
it was.
Apparently they showcased that at some point. I just saw that in passing on some some feed.
Penny's Big Breakaway. That's the from the creators
the
of
yo-yo
Sonic Mania.
game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It looked cool. I know like T. Lopes is doing that soundtrack.
Hell yeah.
I feel like there was even one other thing that
There's a new WarioWare coming.
Oh yeah. That one looked pretty fun. I feel like because I feel like it's has a chance to capture the magic, whatever you want to call it, that the Wii version had, but without having to explain all these different ways to hold it. Like it seemed like it's all based around holding the Joy-Cons like at your side and then going from there. So I feel like they can maybe get into that territory where they just show some shit on a screen and you just know kind of intuitively what to do.
Yeah. Oh, and they are re-releasing Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Oh yeah.
Don't know why.
Didn't have a good time with that one?
No, I did, but like in terms of priorities of like if it's low-hanging fruit, they got the engine, they got the assets, it's something
That's what
they
it's
can
got to be.
plug and play. It still seems like a lot of work. It seems like
because you
so
gotta
much
remake
work.
a lot of stuff. But they got to be thinking, hey, it's got to be the 3 engine. It's got,
Yeah, it has to be. But like, it still just seems so much like.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a lot of extra work, especially if they are not. I'm assuming it's not unless they just made good enough renders.
The Pikmin
are they good enough
re-releases are just ROMs, right?
Yeah, they're just the GameCube, like they're
just
up-resed
ports.
or something, but they're just a direct port. Yeah, or it might be like the Wii U version or the Wii Let's Play version or whatever it was.
Yeah, the Let's Play.
Because they did Let's Play and Let's Play Pikmin on the Wii.
Oh, there was a Princess Peach game, too. That was the other thing.
Oh, yeah, they teased that, which, that could be cool.
Yeah.
It almost looked like it was maybe made by, like, the Woolly World team.
Ooh.
I don't know why I was getting vibes. They didn't show much, but I was just like, I'm kind of getting that flavor from this.
That's
for
big
some
time
reason,
if that ends up being the case.
Yeah, if that was a good feel game, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see them step away from the Yoshi stuff. They've done a great job with those, but...
We've had it. Yeah, we've had plenty of that.
Yeah. Man, I really want to go back and play Epic Yarn one of these days.
Phenomenal.
Still one of my favorite game experiences ever.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful game.
Yeah, that soundtrack, man, just magic, just magic. But should we do a little clap here?
We should do a little clap here.
I'm gonna fucking play this game as soon as we get off.
Yeah, it's a really good video game. Yeah,
I'm probably gonna fire up some Kingdom Deadlands myself. I'm finally committing.
Did you get the 80s one or no?
No. I think I was saying earlier it's out on PC, but they haven't put it out on consoles yet. And I'm like,
it's a matter of time.
I play all my Kingdom on Switch, and it is coming for sure. They're not.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a maybe. If it was a maybe, I'd probably be like, I'll just grab it now.
Yeah.
Because I did a stream of Kingdom recently, and I was even during it, I was like, I don't know about that 80s version. And the more I've seen of it, I'm like, it looks pretty fun.
That's
a
major
Kingdom
series for you, though. You got it.
Yeah, I love them so much.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little bit like, I was like, I don't really, because I'm not that nostalgic for the 80s. Like, even the 90s,
sure,
not terribly, but that's more when I grew up. But like 80s, right. I'm like, I like when I watch those movies that are like supposed to be classics from the 80s. I mean, some of them hold up, but a lot of them, I'm like, that's what people liked. Okay.
They like it because they were 8.
Yes,
that's why they like it.
Yeah. but to the point of like Kingdom, like sometimes it's really nice to have a formula that you like, but with mechanics that twist. Are different.
Hell
with a little twist. Even these DLCs are like, there's the Deadlands DLC, the Bloodstained DLC.
Yeah,
they just enough because there's all the different mounts, which. I think there's different mounts that aren't in the other games, but there's the different mounts that all have their different abilities. But in the Deadlands DLC, every character has a different ability like that you play as, and you can actually like swap between the 4 main heroes in that game.
Yeah.
Like and that's just enough of a wrinkle. Like even though Norse Lands is like technically like they kind of cleaned up some of the AI and some other things. It's like a better DLC. I still go back to Deadlands. I'm like, I think this is my favorite.
It's like I get that, linguistics is evolving and things can be classified as whatever, but like those don't feel like DLC. Those feel like separate titles.
Yeah, they really are. They're full blown.
Different releases.
Yeah. It's weird that like, because that's why I was kind of confused. I was like, why is Norse Lands like a paid DLC for 2 crowns? But then the other 2, Shogun and Deadlands, were just free DLCs for 2 crowns.
Yeah.
And then now they have Kingdom 80s, which is a totally separate. It's just like, I don't get it. I don't get what it is. So I would be happy to just buy a new game each time because they're all great.
Yep.
Hell yeah.